What is going on, everyone? Welcome into BP Insights. So let's get into it. So how important is money status? Honestly, um, or so how important is status? So let's think about status, and I think for a lot of people, I think when status and dating, I think a lot of times what comes to my mind is like the top 1% of guys. I think a lot of people think that guys who are at the top or the Tiger Woods. Um, those guys are like the top level guys. I think in a lot of people mind Tiger Woods, Tom Brady. I think those are what people think of mostly as the top 1% of guys. Um, Tiger Woods obviously had some success with women, even though it didn't really came with some scrutiny, some backlash, stuff like that. But Tiger Woods, he to have all the success he did, he had to become something in life. Tiger Woods was not just born an incredible golfer. He had to work. He had to put countless hours, a lot of hours that really screwed up his back. So he really had to do a lot of great things to really get that access to all those women. He was just not. If he was working a regular job today, would he have had the same success with those women? Probably not. Maybe, but but most likely not. So Woods had to really work to become something in life. Yeah, I mean it's tough out here in the dating market. I mean, I think one thing that always comes to mind. I think some men talk about it. Maybe these women should just lower their standards, and it's a um, fair thing to say. I think, but it's one of those things where you know think about it reverse for a second. If you're a man and suddenly you woke up a beautiful woman tomorrow, would you want to, if you're, say you're even like average, below average guy, and you woke up a beautiful woman tomorrow, would you want to, would you want it? Would you choose you? Would you date you? Andrew Tate talks about that. Look in the mirror, look at what you got going on in your life. Look at how you feel about yourself. Would you choose you as a man? And I think that's the thing. If you're a below average guy, I think it's easy for you to say, women are this, da da da. If I was a woman, I would be more realistic. I think it's all fair to say those things, but like also at the same time, like you know, would you, if you were an attractive female, would you take you? Would you pick you? Would you like be attracted to you? So that's the thing. That's why you know the gym is the ultimate foundation because that's the thing. Like if you're like I noticed like dudes who like average height guys in the gym, I'm immediately hear it kind of like, and I see they're like really bulked up. You don't really, you kind of stop thinking about them as a short guy. I think that's the thing. Like even tall dudes that are really scrawny, you kind of like, obviously, you know, they probably still get attention from women just for being tall, but like you don't really think about like they probably don't garner the respect they potentially could just because if they really bulked up they would be getting a lot more respect, a lot more attention from women. Obviously some girls, I think their type is tall skinny dudes, but um, I don't think being a scrawny is not attractive. There was a poll done by women. Scrawny was like the least attractive, or was like the least. It was the least um, preferred male body type. So yeah, being a scrawny dude is just not. It's not the way. It's not the ideal way to be. But yeah, I think so. Men. So you're talking about men meeting women, and the ideal, do men, men obviously aren't approaching as women as much. Men choosing to spend their time doing other things. Kind of the I think the reason why men don't really approach as much anymore is just because I think that men understand that there's going to be opportunities they're going to have in your data. It seems like because there's just so many women out there that just like there's going to be a circumstance where a woman's just going to kind of come into your life and have interest. If you are at least, if you're a decent looking guy, I feel like there's going to be opportunities. There's going to be certain circumstances that happen that are going to give you a chance to get a girlfriend. I'll be right back. So yeah, that's the thing. Your day to day life. I think a lot of guys just really rely on social circle. I think that's why you see a lot of. If you notice, like a lot of average guys that are in relationship, I notice that they're in relationship because of a certain circumstance. Like they met a girl in their social group. I think that's kind of the key way to do it. A lot of guys that have, that's the thing. If you're an average guy, you probably, life can be really tough if you're just cold approaching because, there's a lot of women that just are not, if you're not up to a certain, like I say, even honestly, even if you're an above average looking guy, it's just really, cold approach it can be really brutal. Not that women will be rude to you, but you're just gonna have a really hard time. I think that's why, really attractive guys just do even really attractive guys don't necessarily cold approach a lot, but I think that's why they're more inclined to do it if you are an attractive guy, just because you know that even if the girl rejects you, a lot of times the girl will at least have somewhat of attraction to you. Like you'll probably at least get some text backs. I think what's brutal for the average guy, I think what's brutal for the average guy is I think the they'll get numbers, but it'll be the amount of fake numbers and no replies. I think that can really take a toll on you, honestly. I think, you know, if you're a guy that's, got things going on, good looking, tall in shape, you're gonna get replies, even if you're not, even if you don't, even if she flakes on the date or just doesn't, or the texting really doesn't go anywhere, you're gonna at least get replies. And I think that's a really big confidence boost in itself. Or that's not a confidence boost, but that's just kind of like it's somewhat of reassurance. Like, okay, well, at least she had somewhat of interest. At least it was a real number. I've kind of been there too. Sometimes you just got to take, not that there's, not that you don't want to go down the road of just being the moral victory guy, but sometimes you kind of have to take some small wins to try to build some momentum. Obviously, you don't just want to keep celebrating just getting a real number, or a delivered message that it was a real number. But you don't want to just continually pout and look at the negatives of all these situations, because then you can really go down a negative negative spiral and really start to think negatively. But yeah, getting in the gym so crucial to having success. It's that building that discipline is just. I mean, it's so big. It's so important. I've been going to the gym now. I haven't missed a gym session now for like 3-4 months. Because I just thought, going to the gym every day, that's going to build just impeccable discipline. It's gonna really toughen me mentally, physically, and it certainly has. But I've been going for 2 years now, and it's just, there's a lot of days I don't want to go. There's a lot of, it's crazy how far as years go by. It's crazy how far you realize you've improved. It was once upon a time where um, I didn't want to do more than a few workouts. I didn't want to do more than a few sets. It's crazy once you've built that discipline, and your set point kind of improves. Once you do 5 different workouts, 5 sets of 10 every day, it's hard to, your body starts to feel bad if you're not even doing that amount. That's kind of the new standard you've created. And once you create that new standard, then you can kind of try to keep upping it and upping it. And then, even if you don't hit that high, once you create a high standard, even if you're not hitting that maximum standard, you're still doing a lot of great things to better yourself, and you're still having strong workouts. So yeah, we talk about, who's who's the greatest of all time when it comes to getting women. Dan Bilzerian certainly up there. Dan Bilzerian um, was a legend. He still is a legend. You see, king of Instagram, as some people call him. The guy just understands female nature. He understands, he just basically he doesn't do the mistakes that guys continually make. He doesn't text a girl all day. He doesn't waste time with women who have low interests. If a girl doesn't want to sleep with him, he just moves on. Dan Bilzerian just gets it. Some people just get it. When you say a guy just gets it, a lot of time he just gets it from trial and error. Dan Bilzerian understood a long time ago that obviously you're going to take some lumps. You're going to deal with some women that don't like you, but you're also going to have great success. And that success is going to feel really good if you've put in the work. This is a guy that put in the work not only from poker, but he also put in the work from doing the approaches and learning what works, what didn't work, learning about female nature. Something a lot of guys don't do. And he talks about how don't chase, but he's even guilty of chasing. I think the guys that stress don't chase were the guys who were the chaser at one point. You talk about trial and error. That's how he learned not to do that. That's how he got the slap on the wrist of don't do that. Hey, don't do that. Trial and error. He learned that, once if you chase, they oftentimes run away. So he learned that long ago. Dan Bilzerian knows a lot, knows a thing or two. I remember there was a YouTube comment. Some guy commented about, learning, he was picking up with Dan Bilzerian back in the day. I thought that was interesting. Talking about the guy would just, he'd be ruthless about it. And that's one thing. If you want to have success at something, you got to be ruthless about it. You got to be always on top of it, day after day. You got to be relentless. You look at Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, watching Joe Burrow on Sunday Night Football, guys that are relentless. They just every single day they're going to get after. And that's what Dan Bilzerian was all about. He didn't care. He didn't care if he was 4 for 100, 2 for 100, 2 for 200. I think that's what's cool about the game is the game will reward you for staying consistent. There's times, there's no light. Andrew Tate says there's no light without dark. There's no sunshine without rain. Sunshine wouldn't feel so good if it weren't for rain, and joy wouldn't feel so good if it weren't for pain. That's what 50 Cent says in that one song. But it is true. That is true in dating. There's going to be highs, there's lows, there's going to be really lows. There's going to be days where you kind of really question, why are you doing this? But then you have a day where you're feeling good. You're at the gym. You get a girl that smiles with you. You get her number. She immediately wants to set up a date and hang out. And you kind of take a step back and you're like, man, why did I get so down on some of those negative days? But that's just the game. That's how the game works. Dan Bilzerian understood this a long time ago. The game rewards you for staying true with it. So yeah, he's he's a guy that got it. It was funny. It was on one of those interviews. He's talking about people trying to copy what he's doing. I think that he even says he thinks there's going to be a guy that can do it. Copy what he does eventually. He said with all the millions of people in the world, but it's one thing. It's kind of just hard to, most guys kind of get. Lesson one wrong of not texting a girl all day. I still talk to some guys who think you should text a girl a bunch before you set up the date. I'm thinking dude, no, because it's funny. I was back and forth on this for a long time, but I talked to one girl I used to work with, and she's like, you don't do that, Eric. Because I said a girl flaked on me, and she's like, that's too bad, because a girl already knows if she's going on the date when she gets your number. And I'm thinking yes, that's true. And I used to not believe that, because I used to not be the guy where, okay, we're still talking. So we're still on, why you shouldn't text. So I used to be on kind of the side of, you shouldn't text her, but also I kind of thought that, a girl would be, when a girl gets her number, she's still kind of 50-50. But it looks like, that it looks like she's not she knows if she goes on the date with you, cuz yeah, that's the thing. I was listening to what's that doctor, this one doctor, they say he's a doctor. He's like I don't even know what exactly um, he's a specialty in, but he talks about dating and approaching. He talks about like a little bit of approaching, dealing with women, stuff like that. Guy that said he used to be like a nice guy, and he talked about how a woman knows within seconds whether she would hook up with a guy. And I used to I used to not believe that, but the more you interact with women, the more you interact with people, you understand that's true right away, or you understand that is so true because that's the thing. Working at a place where there's a lot of women come in, there's immediately, I have women at the register, and a lot of times you sense right away if they're interested or not. Now there's a lot of girls, I call them 50-50 girls, because they're girls that they're single and they're open to talking to you, but they're more so like what they're saying in their mind is, he's all right, he's all right. Let me see. Those are the girls where I think that's why game is become so popular, because those are the girls where if the game is on point, then they'll probably go on a date with you. They might hang out with you. You might uh, have some success, but those aren't girls that are gonna still be ideally good fits long term, even if they are good quality women, because they're just not that attracted to you. There's eventually, if you're doing something to turn her off, it's really going to turn her off because she wasn't really that interested and attracted to you in the first place. So that's why those girls ideally, you don't want really you want to really avoid, even if they are good women. But that's the thing. It's crazy how many girls with boyfriends you'll see, and then they're like, you see them fixing their hair, checking out other dudes. I'm thinking like that guy. I'm thinking like that girl must have lost some respect for that guy. That's really too bad. That's really sad. That is, you were with a girl who just doesn't, she flat out just doesn't really respect you. Like I remember I was at work and this girl came in with a guy. I assume it was her boyfriend. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't. But like she looked at me and then she kept walking, then stopped and looked back again at me. I'm thinking like, does that guy that guy doesn't even realize what just happened there. Not that she would like, it's one of those things where she'd like leave me for him, or or she doesn't have any respect for him and doesn't like him at all. But I'm thinking like, that relationship is probably, there's obviously an expiration date on every relationship, but there's especially an expiration date on that relationship. That is not going to last. There she's already looking at to explore other options, or she's already lost some respect and is already looking at other guys. So to me, her interest is she's lost some respect, lost some interest. It's not really Does not really have the same feelings for that guy in the beginning, even if they were there in the beginning. But I've talked about this before. I think that's why guys are interested a lot of times in girls who have boyfriends, because a lot of times those are girls that have like the most respect for men. Because you got to think about it: if they didn't really respect men, they wouldn't be in a relationship in the first place. Now, obviously, can girls who don't respect men really at all still be in a relationship? Yes, but just by sure odds, like if you're playing the odds, uh, you know, odds are that if a girl is in a relationship, there's obviously a lot higher chance that she does respect men. But yeah, that's the thing. I realize, a lot of girls come in single. Um, a lot of girls you talk to are they're single, and I'm thinking like, why is this girl single? And one way to know is if they're out and about at the mall late at night. There's a really high chance they're single, because you got to think, women don't really go out um, alone at night. Um, and yeah, if they're not with a guy, that there's a the very high chance that they're not in a relationship. But yeah, you really want to avoid the women with the deep voices. Those are women you just really want to stay away from. They just don't. oftentimes they just, the problem with women that are masculine is, men are going to have to out masculine them. So that's the thing. If you're a masculine guy, do you really want to spend your time and energy trying to out masculine a woman? Like, probably not. If you're a masculine guy, you probably want to deal with women that are feminine, submissive, nice, friendly, non-combative. Why would you spend your time dealing with a woman that's just going to be, um, combat, just is going to give you a hard time? It doesn't even make any sense because that guy's on his grind. He wants peace. He wants respect, kindness. But yeah, that's the thing. I think, there is a lot of women that pretend to like men, which is too bad. Uh, I wish, you wish that, uh, you wish that they would just give a clear answer whether they like you or not. I think, I think what's frustrating is how many women, pretend to like guys. That is really very, very frustrating. Why would you just, you know, uh, well, I'll tell you why. It's for attention, validation, to feed that ego. But you could save a man's time. Even if it's not a lot of time, obviously, because if a girl, um, flakes, obviously, it's not really wasting that much time. I guess. I mean, time you spent preparing for the date. Um, I know. I remember I got a girl's number last winter, and I had a date set up, and she flaked like a couple hours before. And I'm thinking, like, why wouldn't you just? Because I'd set the date like what was it, 3 or 4 days in advance or something, some shit like that. And she flaked like, what was it? She flaked like, yeah, 2.5 hours before. I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like, why wouldn't you just, forget even in the flake. I'm thinking like, why wouldn't you just tell me? Why wouldn't you just say you didn't want to hang out? That's what I've noticed. I remember I got a girl's Snapchat at the bar too. I've noticed that once they delay, if you try to hang out right away, if they delay it further in time, like say today, I don't know what is today, Monday. Today's Sunday. So say you get a girl's number on Sunday and she's delaying hanging out till like Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, or Sunday, like a week. If it's like 4, 5, 6 days later or more, she's probably not interested. Because that's the thing. If they're really that interested, they'll hang out within the next day or same day, maybe even same day or the next 2 or 3 days. They won't wait 4 or 5. They won't push. They won't delay it 4 or 5, 6 days. To me, it was really just showing that, number one, I wasn't her best option. Two, it was showing I wasn't a priority because she said she had a lot of school work. Two, it shows that schoolwork was more of a priority than me, which I mean is fine. Obviously, it's her life, but just like basically, I was not her first choice. I was not, in her mind, the best, her mind at all that physically attractive, and her mind a guy that she really likes. So just combination of really, not her best, a bunch of things that really boil down to me not being her best option. But yeah, I remember that. Talk some of my approaches. So I was listening to an approach I had talking about an approach I did last year. It's on this channel if you want to watch. It was on Observation One. So I remember that's when I was getting back fully into approaching. I remember I just made a promise to myself that I'm gonna approach again. Um, so I remember, yeah, I was just like, it's funny how like, that was kind of an example of like beginner's luck. So that first day, I remember this was January of last year, January 23. Um, and I remember I was just at work and this blonde girl comes in, um, and she's kind of giving me looks, and then she's in the luggage section. I'm just like, so I go over there, just, hey, how's it going? You find everything all right? And, it seemed like a smooth conversation. She's like, yeah, going to England, da da da. And I'm just like, is it cool if I get your number? Just, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go straight. I went straight for it, and she said, yeah. I think she was attracted, but turns out one of the kind of a case of didn't like me, um, and then because I said, hey, it's me from where I work, and then uh, she responded, hey, couple was it two Y's, smiley face or some shit, and then uh, I asked about do you want to go to can I take you to PF Chang's or some shit, and she just didn't reply. So yeah, that's the thing. It was Andrew Tate talks about if they reply, at least it shows they at least had some interest. And I think that's true. I think that's definitely true in this case. I think obviously there was interest in the sense that she was somewhat attracted, but she just it was a case that she didn't attracted but didn't like you. I think that's really frustrating. When they're attracted and they don't like you, because it's just like you've kind of won, you've kind of done in a way. You're about 2/3 of the way there, because you make the approach, check, um, find a girl. It's a girl that you're attracted, check, but she just doesn't like you. So it's kind of like you're two. Yeah, like I said, it's 2/3 of the way there, but you're just kind of missing the last, uh, the last piece of the equation, if you will. So that's what's frustrating about that. Sometimes you kind of got the opposite though. Uh, but yeah, sometimes it can be the opposite. Make the approach. She kind of likes you, but she's really not all that physically attractive. Say that can happen when you got really good game. I think that's what average guys who have good game deal with. You can get a girl that if you really if your game is that on point, you can get a girl kind of starting to like you, but there's still kind of that part of her that's like, he's not really that attractive, so she's kind of holds back in that sense. So that's where you can have 2/3 of the equation um, complete, but not that third piece. When she um, likes you, your game's on point, um, and you made the approach, likes you, but just not all that physically attracted to you. So that's what's tough. So that's the thing I listen to. Darius M. He really tries to simplify, dating and the approach and stuff like that. And I kind of just got fixated on because he always hammers home, does she find you physically attractive? That's the number one thing to keep in mind. I think that's finding you physically attractive is a huge start. Because think about it I always think about this from the opposite point of view. Like if you're a guy and you see a woman that's just like super attractive, you're probably she doesn't even really need to, obviously if you approach her, she's just like really weird or some, does some really strange things, you're turned off. But oftentimes if she's really that super attractive, you're kind of just sold right away. She doesn't really need to be, uh, you know, she doesn't really need to, have like the greatest, most bubbling personality. You don't have to have like everything in common, but yeah, that's I forget where I was going with this, but yeah, that's the thing. If a girl, so if I remember my train of thought, if the girl really finds you all that physically attractive and she does kind of like you for the first inkling, then it's just she's kind of like just sold right there. That's really why dating. What's so fun about the game is sometimes girls are just sold. It's like like if you're in sales, like at work, they want us to sell credit cards. So if when you're selling the card, you ask a person and they just immediately want to sign up. It's just like awesome. They're sold. Those are the girls as a guy you want to find, the girls that are just sold right away. You're physically attracted to her. In her mind, she likes you. She likes your vibe. She likes the way you carry yourself. She can see that you're confident. And then just by kind of sometimes they'll research you. I've noticed that even if she doesn't like you, but she's super attracted to you, she will follow you on social media just to kind of test you. Um, I had a girl like that in the summer. She came into my work, found me super attractive, but just, she didn't. she didn't really like me, so she followed me on social media. Um, but what happened was she didn't really like me. So if they don't really like you and they have you on social media, they'll just kind of look for reasons to disqualify you. So I remember I kept posting like on social media. I thought that might help because I can sense she's kind of it 50-50, iffy about hanging out. And I know then she eventually unfollowed me. So I kind of just was like, yeah, whatever, just kind of weed her out. She really wasn't that attracted to you. Um, but sometimes if she's interested and likes you and then looks at your social media and your social media is popping, that can actually give you a boost. It's like in the case of like Austin Dunham, Austin Dunham, good looking guy, got a presence on social media. Girls will think, say he just a cold approach the girl on the street. Obviously the girl has no idea the status influence this guy has online, but she starts talking to him, gets his number, and then immediately she just immediately um, or she checks the social media immediately. That's a boost in his favor. That's the thing. But then you can argue if she already liked him, you don't really need that. Yes, that's true. But also, having that boost, having that extra boost of social media, it's just obviously it never really hurts you, So it's one of those things where I guess you can make the case it doesn't necessarily help you all that much if she's really all that interested, but also it doesn't really hurt you, and it's good confirmation from the girl too, to show or to see that you have some status and influence in the world. Yeah, I gotta plug this in. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the gym here in a second. um, so yeah, gym, interesting place. Really is an interesting kind of environment. Um, honestly, um, a lot of dudes, I think, really just like to show off their physique, because it is kind of a status signaling to show off a great physique. It really is a status. It's accomplishment to get really in good shape, because not every guy's in good shape. That's why people appreciate guys who are really in good shape, have six pack abs, because it's not easy to get. It's not easy to obtain a great physique. It really isn't. But yeah, you look at getting in tremendous shape really helps you for a number of reasons. Obviously, you get sick less. That's what I notice. Hitting the gym hard, you really you don't get sick as much. Um, a strong body really helps prevent getting sick. At least in my case, I think a lot of people can speak from that. I was listening to Ronnie Coleman interviewed, and he said that he just never gets sick. I think a lot of that's due to, all the, just having that strong body, just working out hard. You just don't, your body is just resilient to any viruses, any sickness in your body. So, that's why lifting so important to avoid getting sick. But yeah, I think Ronnie Coleman, speaking of Ronnie Coleman, I think he is the greatest of all time. This dude was, look at how big he was. I mean, absolute monster, absolute tank. A guy that just really just worked so hard to get to where he's at. And yeah, he's something. But yeah, I've kind of learned at the gym. I think some people have found this trick before. I've noticed that when I go with like or when I start lifting with like a hoodie and some pants, just a lot of stuff that's going to make me hot and sweat. I've kind of noticed that really, uh, it kind of gets you uncomfortable right away because you start getting hot and sweaty right away. Once you get uncomfortable right away, it's kind of makes the gym easier because like lifting sometimes obviously is uncomfortable because you're in pain. But like once you kind of get that sweat going and you're feeling uncomfortable because like for being really hot, once you have that going, it makes like the lift. You almost want to just keep lifting to kind of get rid of that, to kind of distract your mind from that uncomfortable feeling. So yeah, that's what I've kind of noticed. And I kind of had to play, at the gym. Sometimes you kind of have to play tricks on your mind, like you have to say, "Oh, I'm only gonna do one more rep," or I sometimes I just don't even. I've kind of had to stop. Like I've gotten out of my workout routine a little bit. I used to do at the very least, 7 different workouts, 5 sets of 10. I've kind of shifted away from that because I wasn't going as heavy doing that. So I've kind of just, I do like one exercise at a time, and I try to just go a lot of times as heavy as I can for as many reps, just so, you know, just so I can feel. Because I've noticed that like my brain kind of gets like my mind kind of gets bored when I'm just doing like lower weight repetition. You kind of just almost get like a little bit of boredom. I've noticed you kind of just want to do, even though I'll end up doing a lot of sets, you want to do sometimes. For me, what's working, or I say what's working for the most part, is doing like less sets, higher reps. Like I'll do, like tonight I started on squat. I didn't go super heavy on squat. I guess that's not the best example, but on leg press I went heavier, and I just did, fewer sets, fewer reps, but I just um and I just kept saying, like one more, just one more set, one more set. Sometimes you got to kind of trick your mind. I've noticed that, even some nights I only do like 5 workouts. If I go really heavy on those 5 workouts, I notice I get almost as good a workout as if I did, 7, 8 different workouts and just did, lower reps. So I think that's the important of doing heavier reps, lower reps. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely struggle days to get motivated to train. I know Andrew Tate talked about he was motivated about like um, about 25% of the time, and he kind of said, "Who's motivated to train on a random Wednesday morning?" That's the thing. It's easy to get motivated on certain days. Say it's a Friday and you're lifting with a couple buddies and you got things going on the weekend. It's easy to lift on that day because you're thinking about the weekend. Maybe you're going to a tailgate or something like that. It's easy to get motivated on those days. But yeah, on a at Tuesday, 5:15 p.m. after a long day at work, um, you got getting stressed out, feeling down about something. Maybe you had a bad day at work. Those are the days where the gym can be a grind. And I've noticed that every other day is a tough day. I've noticed that, I think if I have a bad day at the gym or I don't go as hard as I should, I notice the next day I can kind of it's easier to get kind of that motivation to bounce back the next day and go a little harder. I don't know if that's kind of the case for everyone, but I've noticed that for me, that if I have kind of a down day, like I'd say tonight kind of was like that too. So tomorrow probably a big bounce back day where I'm really going hard. But yeah, I try to just, I've really emphasized just trying to go as heavy as I can. Like I'll just go like I got to be careful not to hurt myself, but I'm going like on dumbbell press. Sometimes I'll just grab like an obnoxious amount of weight, like even weight that I know I probably can do once or twice, but I know I can't rep it, just so my brain can kind of just like be fired up, and my brain can kind of just like wake up, and my mind just like utterly locked in on just like, you know, exerting all that energy into that lift. It's kind of hard for me to articulate kind of to describe that, but I think that's what's key to um, having a lot of success, or that's what's key to having a really good workout. Sometimes just putting an obnoxious amount of weight on there, and I think that's one thing I was struggling with, not going as heavy as I should at times. But yeah, I think sometimes you just have to put an obnoxious amount of weight on there. Obviously, on the bench press, you got to be careful doing that because you don't want to hurt yourself. But if you're doing like machines, do the heaviest you possibly can on the darn machines. That's what I just on well, even on seated leg curl, you got to be careful because that can really kind of hurt. But uh, leg extension, leg press, leg press machine, some of those just put as much weight as you possibly can on some of those machines, because that's really, you know, obviously the machine's controlled, so you're not, accidentally using more muscle groups. But and the machine's not always the best thing to use, but machines still offer a lot of benefits as well. Yeah, because that's kind of the debate, free weight versus machines. Obviously, they both have uh, their pros and cons. I think as I've hit the gym more and more, just a free weight guy. I think honestly, there's days I really just want to hammer home like the big lifts, bench, squat. I don't deadlift as much, but I'm not against deadlift, leg press. I've really grown to really like leg press. Leg press, I think with all things considered, I think leg press is probably the best lift. Like if you're considering like safety and uh, safety, ability to lift heavy weights, a workout that works a big portion of the muscle group. I think leg press is one workout that's just so beneficial. Obviously squat too, but squat obviously has the danger factor involved. Squat's not the safest lift ever. So yeah, um, that's the problem with squat. Um, Deadlift, I like deadlift too. I don't think deadlift, obviously, if you're deadlifting without great form, obviously you can be working a lot of back as opposed to legs. Uh, but yeah, I really like doing leg deadlift. I think deadlift's a good workout, yeah, especially for the lower back too. I think that's helped strengthen my lower back. I've noticed just doing some lifts. I think this is kind of common knowledge, but doing some lifts, you'll get some good ab workout too. So I really like that as well. Um, Sometimes you just kind of you'll work a little bit of abs. I've noticed that like with push downs, you'll get a little bit of an ab workout too. Um, I really like doing push downs. Lat pull down is one of my favorite lifts for some reason. I don't know why. I just kind of enjoy doing lat pull down. Sometimes it doesn't always feel the best, but I do enjoy it. I think it is a really good workout, a good exercise. So yeah, I like the lat pull down machine. Um, seated rows are cool. Um, yeah, I think the machines where I can really the machines free weights I can really just put a ton of weight on without it being dangerous, like dumbbell press. I really like um, incline dumbbell press. Um, yeah, seated rows. I know seated rows are kind of a machine, but and then like for concentration curls, sometimes I'll just put an obnoxious amount of weight on there. Um, Really, yeah, that's curls kind of curls can kind of hurt your wrist, forearm if you're not doing proper form. But I really do enjoy doing curls. Got up to 60 pounds concentration curls. Left arm, left bicep stronger than my right bicep, which sucks, but I mean it just kind of is what it is. But yeah, you kind of grow to love the gym. When there's nothing better. Even though a lot of the times you struggle to get motivated to go to the gym, there is nothing better than when you're at the gym and you kind of really get that testosterone energy boost, whatever kind of that euphoric feeling, and you just feel like you can just go forever. I remember there was a day I was just like I was at the gym for like over 2 hours, and I did like remember I did like 21 different exercises, 5 sets of 10. Now it wasn't like super heavy, so it wasn't really that impressive. It wasn't that savage, but I just felt amazing after that. I feel, once you kind of get your base workout that you come in today, it seems like the rest of the workout's just so easy. You can kind of just not really screw around, but you can kind of just go with a free open flow, and you can just really, you know, just kind of enjoy yourself and kind of enjoy the workout and really stress form and reps. I think some days you kind of just have to have days where you just really stress reps, you stress form. So that's what I've kind of noticed. Some days I did go lighter, and I just wanted to hammer home the form. So, and I think good form's important. I think especially like you're doing like straight barbell curls. I've noticed that on those, a lot of times, if you just hammer home the form, once you get several reps in, you really can feel, you really feel that the workout. So that's what I've noticed. Really a fan. I'm a fan, more so a fan of straight barbell curls. I think the bent barbell curls. I don't know what the exact terminology for the barbell, but I think bent barbell curls I think are good too. I used to do a lot of curls. I'm trying not to work biceps as more because I'm trying to even out. My biceps have been pretty good size. I'm trying to, shoulders I'm working on a little bit. Neck, I need to neck a little bit. Legs, my legs actually were been getting kind of small for a minute. Um, I was having trouble. I wasn't like was still doing legs, but I wasn't going as hard as I should on legs, and I was kind of just some days just doing a few machines. I was kind of skipping deadlift and squat. I used to do Sundays. I used to do deadlift and squat. That was kind of brutal. Deadlift, squat, and a lower back. Um, the lower back, or when you're on the thing and you lift up for your lower back. I used to do those three. Just those three workouts alone on Sunday was brutal. And then lat pull downs, and then a couple of ab workouts. For abs, I do um, leg races, crunches, sit ups, and then and planks. So those three I hammer home: leg raises, crunches, sit ups, and planks. Planks I do a minute on, minute rest, minute on, minute rest. I do that for five different sets. That's a pretty good workout. Sometimes I try to hold it for 2 minutes. Uh, leg races, crunches, squats. I'm starting to implement that too. A minute on, minute rest. So essentially, it's about 9-10 minutes it takes to get that done. Obviously, you can go longer. You can do less. You can do it with less rest, but that's what I've started to implement as far as the leg workouts. Yeah, in leg races, crunches. Uh, Obviously, with those, you can add like a medicine ball. Uh, but yeah, not a huge fan of working abs, but sometimes you kind of have to do it. I kind of mixed. I used to in my plan, I kind of had them mixed in the middle of the workout, um, which is interesting because some people like to do it at the beginning or the end. So I would kind of had them at the middle, which seemed to work out fine. I obviously dreaded doing them a little bit. I used to do just 5 sets of 10 for leg races, which actually it's not necessarily easy, but it's kind of like they call it what's the term, a working recovery. It is kind of working recovery in the sense that just like it's you're still working, but you're not working as hard, and you feel like you're kind of like accomplishing things. That's the thing. I noticed that once I got about 2 exercises in the gym, I start to feel better because it's like once like you're kind of tricking your brain. Like once you like accomplish things, and your brain starts feeling better. Um, because like once you're 2 workouts in, you're kind of, or once you get 2 different workouts in, you're kind of like, okay, I'm getting closer to the end. I'm actually getting a good pump in. I've been here for a while, and I'm not just screwed around. So that's why a couple workouts in, your brain starts to the anxiety and stress of not working hard enough kind of starts to lessen, and you can kind of just free flow the rest of the workout and have a strong workout. Yeah, I mean, discipline yourself. Going back to this, discipline yourself to go every day is tough because I look at, I'm thinking like the other day, I'm like, if you're a healthy, in shape man, I think you got to think. You have to understand that it's a certainly a privilege that you can still work out. There's some old guys I think that they probably wish they could still get after it. I'm thinking like you can work out as hard as you want all day, and I'm thinking like, why wasn't I doing this my whole life? You could do as many push-ups as you want a day. You can do as many squats as you want a day. You can get as big, as jacked, as strong, as lean as possible. You can eat right. I'm thinking like, why every guy is wasting this opportunity to do that? And I'm thinking, you know, it's a great thing you could do to better your life, and it's so simple. And you can just do, lift as much as you want. But that's the thing. For a long time, I was getting sore like every day or every other day. I still get sore a little bit. My abs were sore from the workout a couple days ago, but I get sore a lot less, which is awesome. I'm super happy about that because being sore is, sometimes you appreciate it because you're probably building some muscle, building some strength. It's obviously toughen you up from the pain, but you know you just don't, after a while, you just don't want, you kind of get tired of being sore. It can be really painful during the workout, like, especially with my abs being sore, like I'm doing push downs. You almost feel that in your abs when you're doing the push down, so not always the best thing. But yeah, doing squat and leg press tonight, that was pretty tough. Leg press is challenging. um, I want to go heavier leg press, but I'm a little worried that I'm going to squash my legs, squash my knees in. Leg press, talking about leg press can be dangerous, though, I guess, if you are doing pretty heavy weights. I mean, Ronnie Coleman doing 2,300, that's legit. It's a legitimate, uh, that is a legitimately heavy load right there. He did it 8 times, leg press. And the thing about it is, um, I think if you've been going to the gym for a while, it's not like, I think if you don't, like, if you're a casual gym goer, I think you think that's like a insane, insurmountable amount of weight. And not that if you go to the gym, it isn't, but leg press just like is one of those machines that just, it's like easier to do heavier weight, but still very impressive nonetheless. But I think your initial thought is 2,300 pounds 8 times. That doesn't seem humanly possible. But like with the leg press, with the kind of the way it kind of guides you a little bit, it does seem, knowing that it does seem easier. But yeah, that's what's funny about the leg press machine at the gym. It's like you have to, you kind of have to look to steal a bunch of weights from other machines, because like I'm doing 645s on each side. Like you kind of like, that's not all. It's not always easy to find a bunch of 45s in the gym, so that can be frustrating, to be honest. But yeah, I think I was doing like I think like 580. I think I might have done 745s. What was it? Five? Because you always forget because you don't count the bar with leg press, so it's actually a little less. Uh, 645s on each side. I think, what was it? Maybe I did seven, but I'm thinking like some dudes just need like 845s, seven, or some dudes need like 8, 9 45s on each side, just to do amount that's high for them. And I'm thinking like, man, that is just, that's crazy. Or that's just a crazy amount of 45s to use, because there's just no, the gym I go to has quite a bit of 45s, has quite a bit of weights, but just like, you kind of just feel like a jerk stealing that much weight. It's like a couple weeks ago, there was this really, big jack dude, and he was stealing 45s from other people's racks. I'm thinking, yeah, just what a jerk. Who is this guy stealing weight from people? But then he's deadlifting like 585, 500, 585, and I'm thinking like, okay, you know what, whatever. Let him have the weight. So, that's credit him for being that strong, and putting in the work to do that. And, who the heck uh, who the heck cares about him stealing weight if he's going to do that much? So kind of it shut me up. I was like, look at this douchebag stealing weight for people, and then see him doing 500 some pounds. I'm like, okay, yep, you take all the weight you want, young man. Yeah, I used to see like really strong guys in the gym. I think that was like a really, hard to get to that level. I'm still a couple years in, going pretty hard, and I'm still not. I'm still finally getting really strong, but I'm kind of disappointed looking back that I wasn't like really trying to push myself to get stronger earlier. I think, I really hammered home the endurance part, 5 sets of 10, seven different workouts. That'll really get you right endurance wise, but it really will not. It doesn't always, continue. It doesn't always, get you like incredible strength right away. But endurance certainly has really helped me with that. But yeah, I mean, endurance is huge in the gym. I think, maybe taking this approach was good because I think building up the endurance really helped quite a bit. Um, endurance obviously just kind of one piece of one thing that people want to improve upon in the gym. But again, I think for a lot of dudes, it's just getting stronger, getting stronger. Getting strong and feeling strong, I think, are the two biggest things that come with a gym. Yeah, I think in the gym it's cool to see a lot of guys that really aren't that big lifting more than you expect. I think that's really cool to see. Um, seeing guys just put up crazy amounts of weight. Like there's this other guy in the gym that squat like 640, 630, 640. That was really impressive. That's a crap ton of weight, obviously. Do the deadlift 700 pounds there. That's real impressive. That is a obviously that is a incredible amount of weight. Um, but yeah, it is cool to see guys that have really put in the work. A lot of those guys that are really strong, they're at the gym all the time. They're uh, always trying to get stronger, always lifting heavy. Got their bag with them. They got belts and all the special stuff. I'm gonna have to look into getting some wrist wrap and getting potentially getting a belt. Because I really don't want to injure my back squatting. But yeah, I think I'm gonna look into getting some stuff for my wrists. My wrists have been bothering me a little bit. Really do not want an injury. That's something I was thinking about when I'm going heavy on dumbbell press. I really just do not. An injury would just be really devastating because I'd have to take some weeks off, and you just don't. My mind is so hungry to keep um, getting after it every day that injury just is not really not on my radar. But that's the thing I noticed going every day. Your mind starts to feel really crappy if you don't go. Like if it's later in the day, I haven't got my workout in. I'm starting to feel really crappy, starting to almost panic. So you really just want to do. Um, I think the advice is if you're going to start trying to go every day, get it done early in the morning or early in the afternoon. Just so you can get it out of the way. You can start to feel better. So that would be my advice. A lot of times, just try to get it out of the way, and then you'll have the rest of the day to focus on your business, focus on other things. I think if you worked at 9 to 5, get in the gym at 6:30, 7 o'clock, go for an hour and a half, and then get to work and get after it. And don't go too. I'd say don't go too heavy on like squat or deadlift if you have to go to work a few hours later, because that can really tire you out. But yeah, certainly get on the treadmill and get after it, and really do some things to really wake the brain up before work. But yeah, yeah, a lot of a lot of good gyms. I like Crunch. Crunch is a good gym. Powerhouse is a good gym. I got some good gyms around me. Prison City is another really good gym. So I think choosing a good gym obviously is important. I think a lot of gyms have pretty good environments. I don't think really people, everyone talks about judgment free zones in all gyms. I don't think people are really judging you um, unless you're just being a complete asshole. Um, I wanted to say stealing weights, but unless you're just being a complete dick and hogging a machine. And I remember I had this one dude that was just like, I was on the leg press. And he was just like waiting behind me, like with his arm crossed, looking at me. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? I'm going to be done soon. Just don't, whatever. That's just kind of how it is. But I'm going to wrap with that, guys. Thanks for tuning into BP Insights. Stay tuned for more episodes and clips from the show. Till next time. Peace.